All I have to do now is find all my other ones.
Bye, my friend. See ya. We will.
Hello, guys. I am trying to find my last link for this, and I just realized that I'm not logged in as MeMe3Rat on Gmail. I'm logged in as somebody else. So give me just a second to get this link going, and then I will be right here. We're getting ready to talk about school social media branding. So as you're doing this, if you already have your school Facebook page, you might want to have that, be ready to have a tab with that, or any of your school accounts, because we are going to sort of self-assess and look at some things. So I'm going to share my screen now. And before I do, I want to share who's with me here.
Hey, guys.
Hello, we're back for the third time. You know what
Yes.
they say, third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
We just had some folks from JCPS in and out and still hanging out. So you may see people pop in. I'm going to go ahead and change. What do you need? What?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm watching some of the other. This is a rock star
Who is that?
teacher in Northern Kentucky. This is Caitlin Callahan.
Oh, I know her work. Okay.
She's teaching 21st century skills with Flipgrid. So I'm a popping around, and I'll be here.
Flipgrid fever.
Flipgrid fever.
Flipgrid fever. Hashtag. So, all right. So here we go. We're going to get ready and go ahead and jump in on school social media branding, and I'm going to go in and present and then get out of this just a tad. So my question to you is, when we're thinking about social media platforms, today we're just going to focus on what I call the big three. That would be Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And as we start to talk about things today, I want you to sort of think about what you use for which. Thinking about the audience that you use your platforms. I'm sorry, I have mind meld. I've already led 2 sessions today. So I hear people say all the time, Heather, that they have a school communication plan. But then I always ask folks, yeah, but do you have it, or are you actually using it? And so one of the things that I want us to see and learn about today is, are you actually utilizing your school social media plan?
Well, while you're doing that, Jennifer Lawson wants to tell you thanks for doing this today, Mimi.
Oh, no problem. Now, here's my thing that we may have a glitch. I feel like I'm not sharing the right screen. So I'm going to take off screen share and reshare my screen, because I have officially 43 tabs open. No kidding. And I have shared the wrong tab. I have 3 different Google accounts, and I keep on jumping back and forth between all of them. I even have my son's account open today. So back to what I was saying. So there is a difference between having a school social media account and then actually using it to forward your mission. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And you're going to hear me because I work in JCPS, by the way. My name is MeMe3RAT. That's my Twitter handle. And I'm also the person that runs the JCPS Forward Twitter account. And if you don't know what JCPS Forward is, it is an organic teacher leadership movement that's trying to connect the 7,000 educators in JCPS. And we're super happy to have Heather coming to JCPS beginning July 1. It makes me do a happy dance.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Oh, look, LaDonda says, hey. LaDonda. She's in Fayette. I was going to say she's PE teacher. She's
in what I call our sister district.
Our sister district?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
County.
Yeah. So you're going to hear me.
Candace Schneider, Mimi, I'm stoked to continue to grow and learn from your social media-ness. Yes, that's a word now.
I feel like that. I've been learning from everybody else today. So
Candace from?
Candace Schneider is Laura Schneider's. Candace, are you her niece or her? I'm trying to think which one Candace is. I know she's related to Laura Schneider. But then I also know a Candace Schneider and JCPS. So it could be Candace Schneider and JCPS.
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. All right. So I have Moore High School here, and I also have Knight Middle. And these are two examples of schools that are actually forwarding their mission through social media. And today, as we do all this, I want you to think about the difference between having and utilizing. So I want you to rank your school. And I want you to think about your brand. So if you have no idea what a brand is from your school, you're going to be down here on this, say, what? And if you have a brand, like More, who has hashtag no more, and everything about them is now no more. I also talked about Knight Middle School, and they are hashtag nightlife. And so the principal at Knight Middle actually came to me and she said that Knight Middle School was TT. Knight is the first part of it. By the way, you can hear all our side conversations because we're in a Heine Brothers on Bardstown Road.
I'm really sorry for this.
Yes, I do. Sorry, sir. So she said when she took over as principal of Knight Middle School, she knew that Knight Middle School, TT Knight Middle School, was not associated with positivity and what she wanted to have her school known for. And one of the things that she did to build her brand was she dropped the TT Knight. And now both Rob and Principal Gibbs have just completely flipped the public perception and the student perception and the parent perception of their school by creating a marketing or marketable brand. And they just burnt bread. Do you smell that burnt bread? Yep. Okay. So I have 5 reasons why you must join the social media train. Like, you got to jump on it before it passes you by. It's going to spread the word about what you're doing. And that could be spreading the word about your PTA events or your sporting events or how you're implementing district initiatives. It shows you as a school and as professionals leading by example. So you're showing your students and your parents how to really have good digital citizenship. So you're actually utilizing standards, and we're going to talk in a little bit about why you need to interact with your students as well. You want to make your students famous, because if you make your students famous, you're also going to make their parents love you even more. Maybe you have those parents that are like the haters and the negative Nancys, and so you might turn them into your favorite followers. You're going to improve the climate and culture of your school, because one of the things that you're going to do as you're selling your brand is you're going to be highlighting the work of the teachers and the students and the community. Yeah, you're being the beacon. Like you are
shining the spotlight on
them. And you are, every
Yes.
time anything positive happens, then you're also not going to try to cover up if anything negative happens, because nobody's perfect. And then my favorite one, as you're reaching your parents and your students where they are, a lot of folks think when you start to try to create your brand that you have to do everything totally the same. And what we're going to find out is totally not. You want to have 3 different audiences. So your Twitter would be the folks that you want to showcase all of the professionalism in your school. So you're going to be highlighting to your district leadership. You're going to be highlighting to other educators across the country. You're going to be highlighting for today. You've probably seen lots of schools that are sharing their school experience and their school brand. I know Caverna, so Chase Goff has done his. I know Faith, the Cave, the hashtag the Cave. Gibbs has been on here with K and IGHT Nightlife. Eisenhower is
they're having a really
best year ever. Was one of theirs for their students. Yep, and we have folk. So we were just naming some of the people that are in JCPS, but there have been schools from across the state. What is Melodies? I know they have one.
Oh, TM Genius.
TM Genius. There you go. So you see schools, and they are teaching and sharing their brand, so people remember it. So when dorky people like me and Heather are sitting at at a coffee shop and we're talking about them that we can just shout out and share a bunch. Your parents are probably not going to be on Twitter that much, especially the parents that are the ones that are quick to be negative, or the ones that are quick to just ask silly questions. No offense, you know that type. So those are and here I call it the I Am Dixie Highway. There's a Facebook page called I Am Dixie Highway, and all of the parents that might not be as educated and professional get all their information off the I Am Dixie Highway page. Your students are on Instagram, and also your parents are on Instagram as well. And so you're going to market to each of these three groups.
Yep, Candace Schneider is at Royal Spring Middle School.
So that's she's related to Laura, though. Yes, I'm pretty sure she's related to Laura. So here's some themes that we have. I remember meeting her at ESETS. We got No More, Nightlife, Stuart Strong, Charger Pride. If you guys haven't picked a theme, I'm going to go into something different here.
Who's our friend that works at Royal Springs that we love?
Royal Springs in Scott County? Paco.
Yeah.
Paco. Actually, Paco has a real name.
What's her real name?
Her real name is Stephanie Carrico, but that's
Carrico.
Paco. Oh my God, Candace, I know you now.
She says
She knows.
Paco.
Yep, she knows Paco. I gave Paco that name at a national ESET event in an elevator in New Orleans. We're not even going to go into that story.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
So if you want to find your theme, one of the things that you're going to have to do, bless you, is you're going to have to go to Twitter and you're going to have to search to see if somebody else has that hashtag. I was with Conway Middle School last week, and we were trying to figure out what their hashtag or their theme might be. And we looked at Conway Cougars. And when we clicked on latest, anytime that you search, we found that there are several Conway Cougars, middle schools and elementary schools and high schools. And so there were definitely folks using that hashtag. None of us knew any of those. So they decided on the Conway Way. So when they went to search for the Conway Way, they realized that nobody had used that since, and I'm going to pull this down here for a reason. I'm going to pull down to, I've got to go way back down here, y'all. They've done a great job. There was this one dude in January of this year that had put 3 or 4 tweets about Donald Trump on here. Here he is, Glenn Ferreira. And we looked, and other than this Glenn Ferreira dude, for one day in January, nobody had really been using that for anything in years. And so we looked, and it may not be the best of stuff, but I told them if they were going to make that hashtag their own, if they would populate it, no one would be able to find Glenn Ferreira. So as I'm scrolling back up, this is in a week what Conway Middle School has done. And I have to give a huge shout out to Greg Fear and his staff. I said, everything that you do, I want you sharing. They have been putting the Conway Way, that's their school brand, across all of their tweets, and they're owning that work for their school. Hey, look, here's you.
Where?
They quoted something from Heather Burrell.
Yeah, cool.
And we had a 3-day PD. Here is their staff. They want folks to be visible. They see them, what they're doing. They want them to see them. Here is their librarian. You know Sydney Travis?
Yes, I do.
She's doing some great stuff.
Amazing.
Heather said in our last session that the library media specialist is the cool person in your school. So when you pick one, you're gonna live with it, and you're gonna start branding everything that you do with your theme.
And your mission. And
your mission, yes, but that's everything that you're gonna share.
What's the mission of Kentucky Go Digital?
What is the mission of Kentucky Go
Create,
Digital? Connect and share. So our mission and vision of JCPS Forward is connecting the educators of JCPS. And our mission and vision that both of us can spout out really quickly. It's not like that gigantic 3-sentence long one.
You got to read from your school webpage.
Right. You want something catchy that's like 10 words or less that people can remember. So you've picked a theme. you are getting ready to start blasting all this stuff out, the next step you have to do is to build your team. And let me reiterate this as much as I possibly can. It should not just be your admin team doing this, because more than likely your admin team is kind of a bit busy. Have you ever met an admin team that wasn't really busy?
No.
No. Okay. And with everything going on today, I mean, you're getting even less and less time. So my suggestion would be to find those folks in your school that are all over Twitter already and that are already using social media, and really build a team that has teachers in it, that has your admins in it, and it has a person from your central office, or I always say your attendance clerk is a perfect person, because as we talk about in a few minutes, you're going to need somebody that is manning the answer box, or manning the question section. Because once you start having a really effective social media platform, less people are going to be calling you on the phone, because they're going to be getting all the information they need off of social media, and your office staff will love you. Your office staff usually knows everything that's going on in the building, so they're a great person to have. If you have a PTA president, that person is a good person to add, and we'll talk about page permissions in a few minutes. Also, if you have an AD or somebody that knows a lot about sports, that's always a great person to have. And that doesn't mean that they have to be on every one of your social media accounts. You might have just one person that's really into Instagram that takes a lot of pictures, maybe one or two.
Rob Bulk has like 3 people on his social media team.
Take a call from Brad.
Okay. And then your Twitter account, kind of the same thing. You want folks that know the lingo and that are able to interact. I think Facebook is probably the team, because it is so parent driven, that usually people put the most stress or most thought into.
Community centric.
Yeah, community centric. So if you've ever created a Facebook page, there are lots of different types of roles that you can give. I suggest, especially if you have a PTA president that might not have the best grammar skills, that you give limited access. And when you go into Facebook, all of these admin, editor, moderators, advertiser, analyst, live contributor, Facebook will give you a little descriptor of what people are. I know in JCPS, everybody has gone to a Google Drive, and not everybody has editing access. Some people just have view access, so it works kind of the same way. When we first started our Facebook page, there were like 3 of us, and we worried a lot about what people would put, if they would put negative things. And we went several months into the process of having a Facebook page before anybody ever posted anything negative. And then eventually we were in a faculty meeting, and it was funny because we all got a notification. We had it set up so anytime somebody posted to our page, we would get a notification on our phone. And so they said erroneously that their kid came home and said that one of the plant operators peeked over the bathroom stalls, and you could see me, the AP, and the principal all jump up at the same time and run out the door. We didn't know what to do, and all we really had to do was just click delete. Then the principal went and called that person. So now Greenwood Elementary has, and a lot of schools do that, you have to get permission to post. I know most public groups now, because of the crazy atmosphere of everything political, and people are just like to fly off the handle sometimes, so they make it so you have to get permission to post. So I do suggest that. You can, when I come back to that, the secretary or your attendance clerk, you can also get an email anytime somebody direct messages you. So again, you're going to get less calls to your office about things. So having somebody that will get a notification, that way your page can be responsive. One of the things that Facebook will tell you is they'll give you a grade on how responsive that you are. So when I was at Greenwood, I'm at the district level now, my body fell apart. But when I was at Greenwood, one of us would click back in and answer that question as soon as possible. Because when a parent reaches out on the telephone, they think you're going to answer them right away. So we trained our parents. I mean, our parents are very good now. And I know that Gibbs and Folk and some of the other teachers that really have strong social media platforms will say the same things, that they have worked on training their parents. This is my favorite one. I don't know if you've ever seen this. So this is Ballard High School. And if you look, it's a high school in eastern suburbs of Louisville, Kentucky. So really it looks very innocuous, but look down at the tags.
Strong vocabulary. I appreciate that.
Think that. Look down what they're tagged in.
Nightlife.
They're tagged in nightlife, like let's go out to a bar.
Whoa.
So Tony found that.
Yeah.
So make sure that they've had 17,894 visits. They have almost like over 5,500 likes, but they're tagged as a bar on Facebook. So make sure when you are creating your Facebook page that you have your address, you have your school's webpage. Now, some folks have gone away from their webpage now and they've linked it to their YouTube page or their Instagram page, because no offense to JCPS, it takes a while to get our websites updated because we have so many schools. So sometimes the website is not exactly as pertinent. So make sure that you are really keeping up to date with your school's info. So Twitter, I have Seneca High School because for 3 years, I guess, everybody in JCPS was interacting with a student-led Twitter account from Seneca High School instead of the official Seneca High School account. It was the @RedHawkWay, and those students did such a good job on Twitter that nobody knew anything, that they were interacting, they were sharing links that no one knew until Tony had gone out to find out that that was not Seneca High School. So if you look at Seneca High School right now, I have them up here. They are linked to JCPS KY. They are linked to the Academies of Lou. That's an interesting follow, by the way. Some of our academy schools are really awesome. Not some of them, but all of them. So Academies of Lou is a good follow. And it also has their principal's name. And then it links to their student run account. It has the hashtag that they use. I don't know that Seneca has a school hashtag. That's one thing that they probably need to look at. They have their Facebook page linked on their Twitter page. They have their Twitter page linked on their Facebook page, and they have it so you could message them or tweet to them from here. So that is a success story that I just laugh at all the time because I was dumbfounded that I was interacting with these kids like this, but they were very efficient. Instagram accounts. So I pulled up Rob's at Moore. So as you can see, Moore has posted over 1,000 times on their Instagram account. They have over 1,200 followers. They're only following 51. Right? You don't, in Instagram and as your school account, a lot of schools and districts are very choosy on who they follow. And so unlike your personal Twitter, you know, you a lot of folks, if somebody follows you, you'll follow them right back. And with your Instagram account, you probably will not be as follow happy, especially if you're using school or district. They have their hashtag for know more. And in case you're curious, if you type in know more in any way on Twitter, it's going to still pop up. It doesn't matter if your fancy hashtag spelling, as long as it's spelled the correct way. They have a link to their YouTube page, which I think is very impressive. If you look,
Ratliff also just did a Kentucky Go Digital Live session about their strategy, and we'll have it on our KentuckyGoDigital.com on demand.
So I could say that would be one that I will actually go back, one of the first ones, even though I'm not in the school, because people ask me questions all the time. But it's fascinating the way that Moore links from each of those accounts to another account. Yep, I think that Rob is brilliant. He is he's at Rob Folk, I think, or so Moore is definitely one to follow. As you see, you can message them, and also they have a nice new hashtag. And I'm going to go back to Conway here on Twitter. Conway we're sitting here saying sorry to the guy that we calmly went in and they updated their mascot. They updated it to match their color scheme. A week ago, this was an old looking, sorry looking mascot. So if you're going to have a Twitter page, make sure, or Facebook or Instagram, make sure that you have a nice looking profile. If I go to more, they also have a banner, which you don't have to have yet.
Oh, I like that one.
But their banner is super awesome.
Yeah.
I know that our office will take pictures that you submit at the JCPS, and Tony will actually blend several pictures into one background. So let's pull back out to the chat box for a minute
What we have.
before I go into how to like pimp it out.
So next slide. Andy's here. LaDonda's still here. Laura and
Okay.
Candace, both Schneiders.
Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about so far?
Any questions or comments?
Questions or comments, yeah. Before we get ready to talk about some tools. So somebody at the symposium said, I don't think we have anybody geeky in our school. And I said, I guarantee you have a new teacher in your building who's very up to date on some of these digital platforms.
In a lot of schools, the library media specialist
Mhm.
can really serve as the liaison for the school's social media strategy. So that's what I often say to principals across the state is, if your library media specialist is tech savvy, because somebody in your school has to have their eyes on the social media strategy. It's 2018. That has to be on somebody's plate. So when I was the vice principal of culture and innovation, that was on my plate. I had the social media strategy as part of my charge.
All right, so just daydreaming about how we can brand our school and who to ask to get your school together. So Candace, my suggestion would be to have an open, share this link and talk to your principal and then see who's interested. And also don't overwhelm folks, but I guarantee that you're going to have some folks that would love to be interested in this. There is no way that one person can do this. I will say that just because somebody is on, I'm going to go back here, just because somebody is an editor or an admin, it doesn't mean they have to stay there forever. Our assistant principal at the time took a team of teachers to, what's the one with Harry Potter World in Florida? That's Universal, right? So they went to Universal Studios while they were at convening, like a 3-day training. And on our Facebook page, they just posted pictures of them riding rides at Universal instead of what they were doing at the PD. And so the principal and I yanked her editor and admin title and put her down as just a moderator because we didn't want her sharing any more tweets from there. And then he talked to her when she got back. But you can fix those things pretty quickly. Again, I said make about your PTA president or your someone in your front office. If you don't want them creating a lot of things, it's okay. But have some people that you trust. And there will be a lot of folks around that I think will know how to do this. You may be amazed if you just send something around and say, hey, show of hands, who take part in a Facebook page. You're probably going to have a lot of folks. So everything that I do with JCPS Forward, I like to create a little pizzazz with. And I use something called Canva. And Canva is a digital creation tool that lets you make photos free. And it also, you don't have to have a Photoshop account. Now, I will say that if you have somebody with a Photoshop account, that's always great to have in hand. JCPS Forward has a digital creator named Angie Asayer who is brilliant.
Amazing.
She's brilliant, and she does all of our cool logos that we have in JCPS Forward. But I go in, and I'm going to pop up my Canva account real quick.
So while you're pulling up your Canva accounts,
Mhm.
Candace says, we've worked hard at our Facebook page for our hallway, but I'd love to see more school-wide unity in this. Our Facebook, and she gives the Facebook page for their school.
Excellent. So Candace, if you want to reach out and have a conversation or hop on a Google Hangout or a Zoom later on, I totally will be willing to do that with you. So this is my Canva page, and these are different things that I have used Canva to create. And the cool thing about a Canva is that you can go in and edit and share. So this is one that I just play with all the time. This is my play Canva. Anytime that you have something like a logo, you can go ahead and upload it here, and then you could just drag and delete things. So if I said I wanted to have a Purple Cow basketball game tonight, or here is the JCPS logo, I could go in and drag different sizes. I could change the background to something plain. I could go in if I wanted to, and I use this one a lot. This one kind of looks like I know what I'm doing a little bit more. And as you can see down here, I have added our DOS Dragon. So I was sitting around at the symposium and we were just playing with something. The great thing about this is for your sports teams, you could totally have like a football symbol here. So you could have your school logo and then a football, and you could say football game tonight at Farnsley Middle School at 6 o'clock. You could totally, like PTA, skating party, you could highlight those things. And the great thing about these is I can go in, and if I needed to, I can make a copy. And everything you download is there. So if I wanted to change something up, can make it smaller. I like Kid President a lot, so I've kind of downloaded some Kid President things. I ask questions all the time. So this is one of my question things. You can make different size graphics. You can make them for Facebook. You can make them for Twitter. All of my banners that I use for anything that I do, I have used Canva to make them. S'more is a newsletter, and you get the first 3 newsletter free. I know that a lot of folks use S'more now as their principal newsletter because it's prettier. They share out with what their school events are for the week. It's really easy to make, and just like Canva, you can create one and then copy it and use it for another. And then Photoshop, how much is Photoshop now? It's expensive. It costs like a couple $100. If you have someone that has a Photoshop account, like Angie A. Sayer, that's where you make your really professional looking logos. But I am blessed enough to have Angie that can go in and make logos. We have a color scheme with JCPS forward, and when we try to keep the same consistency. The other thing I use is Bitmoji. Kids love Bitmoji. Your parents love Bitmoji. I know lots of schools now that when they're making messaging, like winter is coming, don't forget to wear your coat. Or you can do it, we've got different tests coming up, or, happy birthday to Jimmy. So there's a school in Georgia that uses their Bitmojis for their open house. So every teacher shares their Bitmoji, and the principal at the kickoff puts the Bitmoji up on the screen, tells a little bit about it, and then the teacher pops up in real life. Eastern High School challenges every teacher there to give a quote in their Bitmoji, and so they have a slideshow that shows up across their school. So the other cool thing about Bitmoji is that there is a Chrome extension. And you can tell that I like Star Wars by Bitmojis, but you can just drag a Bitmoji in, copy and paste it into anything. And so it makes just fun looking graphics that you can share. I'm trying to think of what all I'm missing so far. I'm going to go back to my slideshow, and I have no idea which slideshow I'm in right now.
Everybody's starting to wrap up and get ready for the
Yeah.
evening
So let me go back
session
to,
for the wrap up.
I'm just going to scroll down on another slide, another one, and show my info.
Let's see if you have any questions too.
Yeah. Anytime that you see, that's my old slide that I had on Chat Basics, but any questions that you have?
Well, LaDonda Porter said she's a Bitmoji freak.
Oh, yeah.
She did not know about the extension, so that was a big share for her.
I think there's been a session on Chrome extensions, correct?
Yes. It'll be on the Kentucky Go Digital hashtag. I mean, on the Kentucky Go Digital channel.
I feel like I need my sunglasses, so I could have done this all day long, but now that I have real glasses, they don't work very well.
So, MeMe, you did an awesome job.
Well, I have to say you did an awesome job as my question and answer person. We've been here since 10 o'clock today.
Yeah.
So
Melody says to Candace, we have a branding task group at our school. So they have a whole team that works on the brand with TM Genius. So that's great. Getting the teachers involved.
So Melody, let me ask you this. Can you share what teachers are involved in that before we run out of time so people can know? I think Candace was looking to try to bring some different folks in.
Yep, Candace says, thanks, MeMe.
No problem, guys. If you need to reach out to me, I'm always around on Twitter or meme3rat@gmail.com. Folk and Gibbs are always ready to reach out for folks. But
and they'll have their episodes as well on their school-specific strategy on the Kentucky Go Digital channel.
I feel like this is going to be, so while I'm on the plane, I'm going to get net on my way, and I'm just going to watch KYGO Digital sessions on my way to New York. So
you're such a nerd. I love you.
I am a nerd,
Me
but
too.
I love you too. You're a bigger nerd than
I'm
me.
a bigger nerd.
So we're getting ready to sign out for the last time
We'll
today.
see you at the gratitude circle.
Yep. All right, so we did.
So Melody says,
we are all about commitment over compliance, so we're open to whoever's interested. I love you, Melody. By the way, I think it would be cool to work for you. Just want to say, if I ever move your way, I'm totally going to try to scam a job at your school. Not scam, but get a job.
Purple cow, no doubt.
All right, folks. We hope that you're going to go back into the live
closing session.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to go in 3, 2, 1.